Repeat after me. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsa. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsa. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsa. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsa. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Hamsa Shiva Soham. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Soham Hamsa Shiva. Sa Shiva Soham Hamsa. Sa Shiva Hamsa. Just sit quietly for a moment. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. We are looking at the how Bhagavad Gita helps us unfold, and this is what we saw yesterday in the first 6 chapters. Who wants to unfold? Who wants to grow? Who wants to stand up? Who has fallen down? Who wants to grow? Who is not satisfied with where he or she is at this moment? Who wants to unfold? Who feels that he is enfolded and he wants to unfold, that he is closed up. He feels that there is a greater potentiality lurking within him, which he needs to discover. He is curious about it. And therefore, he wants to expand. He wants to see what is the limit that I can expand my consciousness. What is the limit to which I can expand my mind in order to be more than what I am right now. And whether you like it or not, life is pushing you in that direction anyway. From that moment you are conceived, you have been expanding. You have been growing. Then you come to take it by way of education, take it by way of experiences of life. But then you don't stop there. You are not satisfied with just dad, mom and me, or my sister or brother. You want to expand further. So what is that? You want responsibility. What is that? Wife or husband? Then that doesn't stop you. You want children. Then with the wife come the entire relations of the wife or the husband, which you call your own. You have to remember their names. You have to everything. It goes on and on and on and on and on. With friends, with relatives, with colleagues, with etc. Continuous expansion. Life is pushing you in that direction. It wants you to recognize your true potential. But somewhere man stops himself. Man, when I say understand, a human being stops himself. He feels comfortable. Me, my wife, my husband, my children, my house, my loan, my car, my servicing, my diseases, my little bit joys. Which joys? Oh, which I see on my video of the past. Present, no. Only from the past. And he becomes very, very, he confines himself. Self-imposed confinement of all this. And forgets, better ek jayega bas. And forgets that life which was continuously pushing him to expand and be more, somewhere along the way he has put a stop on it. He's not allowing life to unfold. He's not allowing the life to expand. And when knowingly, unknowingly, by grace of the Lord, we come to realize that we have become stagnated in life. Nothing is moving ahead. Nothing is changing. वही सुबह काम पे जाओ, पैसे उधर की तू मैं करो, उसके बाद वापस आओ, फिर वही चाय आती है, वही 2 बिस्किट आते हैं, उसके बाद यू टेल योर स्टोरी टू वाइफ विल टेल हर स्टोरी ऑफ द डे टू यू. उसके बाद थोड़ा सा बच्चों के ऊपर चिल्लाया, बच्चे हैं अपना मस्ती करेंगे, उसके बाद चलो 8 बजे सो जाओ जल्दी. वाई यू वांट पीस. नॉट दैट यू, उनको नींद की ज़रूरत है, यू वांट द पीस. करके फिर सो गए, फिर सुबह नेक्स्ट मॉर्निंग अगेन द सेम रूटीन. एंड व्हेन यू फील दैट यू आर नॉट मूविंग एनीवेयर, दिस इज नॉट ग्रोथ. इट इज इनहेरेंट विद इन अस टू ग्रो. And this is not growth, living a same life of rut, day in and day out, day in and day out, day in and day out. Somewhere in someone's life, like in mine also, in yours also, the grace flows. And suddenly we get interested in something higher and we are seeking. Then a teacher comes into your life, or the scriptures come into your life, or God comes into your life. I was just now in Delhi for one day only. I landed from Kathmandu, and he's a Sardar, my classmate, the very well established colonel है army में. He's retired now, but he was the chief secretary of the Human Rights Commission in India. तो रह रहा है, और उसकी बड़ी लड़की की शादी हो गई, और एंड डिडंट वर्क आउट. एंड वो द बॉय आस्क्ड हर टू कम ओवर टू ऑस्ट्रेलिया, एंड उनका क्लिक नहीं हुआ. देयर वाज नो स्पार्क. इवेंचुअली शी केम बैक. फादर सेड नो, यू कम बैक, बिकॉज ही इज कंसर्न्ड अबाउट हर डॉटर, हिज डॉटर. सो शी केम बैक. बट नाउ that incident became an impetus for the mother and the 2 daughters. The younger one is not married yet, but for them to turn Godwards. Every day they go to Gurdwara. In the house they have a Gurdwara. They do the Sukhmani Sahib part. They go to Gurdwara. They go for walks. They think good thoughts. पहले it was like a rut. चलो शॉपिंग चलना है, क्या करना है, कुछ नहीं, चलो शॉपिंग चलते हैं. अभी क्या, कुछ नहीं करना है, चलो जब गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब पढ़ते हैं. सी द डिफरेंस. सो लाइक दिस in our life, somewhere the turn comes, the shift comes by His grace for the better. And when that comes, we start seeking what are the ways that I can be more, and you can be only more when you are empty. That's why before I speak, I ate. Because my teacher told me, keep your stomach full and mind empty. So I keep my stomach full and mind empty. From that empty mind, then he speaks. I don't have to speak. नहीं तो अगर मैं यहाँ पे आके मैं बोलना शुरू करता और बार बार मैं ये सोचता है यार कॉफ़ी पी ली होती, यार किचन में इतनी अच्छी अच्छी खुशबू आ रही थी क्या, then I wouldn't have been focused on what I have to say. I don't know about you guys. I had. So we saw yesterday what? Someone can tell me? What was the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita about? In one line, it was identity crisis. Whenever there is a crisis in life, there is a possibility of change. And Arjuna, who was overconfident, who had never lost a war, I'm not going to repeat the whole thing, and it brought him to a crisis because Krishna Bhagwan brought him in front of his grandfather, his teachers, and said, these are the people you have to fight. We can fight anyone else, but our own, we find it very difficult to fight, to challenge, to kill. And that was his crisis. And come in, aaja, come in. Move forward. You want to sit up, you can sit up. You want to sit down, aaja. So he had a crisis, and in that crisis, the child is saying, when a small child falls down, Mummy, मेरे को चोट लगी है, खून निकल गया, I'm bleeding, and the child cannot speak also, but he is crying. And what does mummy do? Mummy just looks at him, this fellow, drama कर रहा है. She just keeps smiling. No, कुछ नहीं हुआ. She hits the ground, or if the ant has bitten an imaginary ant, she says, see, I finished that ant. She is smiling. The child is watching. That mom is smiling. There must be, I am going wrong somewhere. That it is not such a serious event as much as I am making it to be. Isn't it? But imagine if the child starts crying and the mom also starts crying. फिर क्या होगा? Dad घर छोड़ के भाग जाएगा. So someone has to keep it cool, and mother was keeping it cool. Same way in this incident of beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Shri Krishna, he is also cool, he is also smiling, he is also having a nice disposition on his lips, because he is seeing the foolishness of Arjuna. The arguments that he is giving, the crisis that he is going through is self-created, self-imposed. Why has it come about? Due to overconfidence. Overconfidence. Never lost a battle in life. Always had success. And therefore, he said what? कार्पण्य दोषोपहतः स्वभावः पृच्छामि त्वां धर्म सम्मूढ़ चेताः निःश्रेयस्यात् निश्चितं ब्रूहि तन्मे शिष्यस्तेहं शाधि मां त्वां प्रपन्नम्. He says, I am karpanya dosho, my mind is wheeling this way and that way. It is not able to make any decision and come to a conclusion. Karpanya dosho pahata swabhava. That is the nature of my mind. What can I do? It is not able to stay still. So, O Lord Krishna, O Lord, please tell me conclusively what is good, what is the absolute good for me. Why you should tell me? Because I am your disciple, Shishyasteham, Shadhi Mam Tvam Prapannam. Shadi nahi, Shadhi. शादी करने शादी तो शिष्यस्तेहम I am your disciple and I am your devotee. I am surrendered at your feet. And yesterday we told you to what is the difference between a devotee and a student disciple. The disciple changes himself according to the teachings that the teacher has given him, and the devotee makes the Lord change. Why? What does it mean that makes the Lord change? A devotee cries so much or surrenders to such an extent that the Lord has got no choice but to bless him, but to give him darshan, but to manifest himself in the heart of the devotee, to transform his vision once and for all. So whereas in devotion, everything is happening by grace, in discipleship, the student aspires to change himself from an individual to a greater being, to the infinite one. That is what the scriptures are teaching. And in this way, Bhagavan gives him the ultimate knowledge. He doesn't understand. It goes as a sick bouncer over his head. And the first lesson, quickly recapping, the first lesson that Bhagavan gives him was, there are many verses in chapter 2. I'm just taking one to create a theme. And what is that? Perform your duties or actions without expectation of a result. Remember, the purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita is what? What did I say today? How did we begin today? To grow, to expand, to unleash your true potential within at every aspect of your personality. So don't forget that. In that light, we are looking at all this. So the first step in that journey is perform actions, because we all are doers. We want to do something. I want to do yoga, I want to do pranayama, I want to do satsang, I want to do this. Everything is I want to. So okay, you want to do, you perform actions, but don't expect any results. Why this is important, we told you? Because mind only goes into the past or future. All the thoughts that appear in your mind are past or future. The more the thoughts, more crystallized is your personality. Lesser the thoughts, more light-hearted you are. No thoughts, you are one with the divine. Today's morning's lecture. Chitta vritti nirodha iti yoga. So no thoughts, you are one with divine. So our goal is to dissolve this crystallized personality. A cube of ice is uncomfortable in any container. Water is comfortable in every container, isn't it? So do we want to be like an ice cube, or do we want to be like a water? Answer will come. I want to be like water. Then you have to be fluid. Then don't get stuck anywhere. Then don't react to anything. River doesn't say why this mountain has come in my way. Her goal is to meet the beloved, the ocean, and it doesn't care if it has to take a longer route. It doesn't care if it has to flow backwards. Wherever, Uttar Kashi, Haridwar, Varanasi, it's flowing backwards. That's why those are the holy places, because it's going back north. But it finds a way, it doesn't complain. Ice will complain. How does ice complain? Ice cube complain? It makes noise. So we also continuously we are complaining. Keep quiet. Let the life flow through. If you keep quiet and will remain empty, path will be revealed. Path will be revealed. But we, in our over intelligence, we decide that which is our path, which is not our path. Come in. Where we are going wrong, how we should grow, how we should not grow. Allow the nature to flow. What have we decided till today in our life? Did you decide your conception? Did you decide? Did you decide your growth? Did you decide that as the zygote is multiplying into cells, this cell is going to go and become the liver, that cell is going to go and become stomach? Did you decide? After, did you decide you are going to come out? That also you are pushed out. Did you decide that you are going to breathe? Someone gave you a slap at the back. That's what they say. And you started breathing. Air started going in and out. Did you create the hunger? That also came. Did you create the bladder pressure? That also came. Did you decide to grow yourself? No, I'm going to grow. No, it's nature is automatically taking care. So why not in every aspect of, where did this come into our mind that I have to grow? You understand? You get out of the way. Where it comes, I have to grow, our ego has crystallized. Our ego has crystallized. So to dissolve that ego, the first step was perform the actions and don't expect any results. What will happen when we do that? 50% of the thoughts about future. What are the thoughts about future? Anxieties. Because future you can never come to know. If I decide I want to make $1 million in next 1 month, I have already limited myself. Maybe the nature wanted to give me 10 million, but I have decided I want only million. Be open, plan and be open. So, as I told you, the thoughts in our mind are only about past or future. We can't do anything about the past thoughts. So we are taking care of our future. The first lesson, chapter 2, perform actions without expectation of the results, is about dealing with the future thoughts. So now out of 100 thoughts in your mind, 50 thoughts over a period of time, if you keep practicing this, they are taken care of. What will happen when 50% thoughts have reduced in your mind? Your mind will become lighter, and that means it has expanded. It is no longer crystallized. Crystallization. What is the food of ego? You know? कभी सोचा नहीं आपने. What is the food of ego? Thoughts of past and future is the food of ego. And you are starving that ego now. Because 50% thoughts are not available for the ego. Ego is dissolved, mind expands. That ice cube is melting slowly. What is the surface area of an ice cube that big? Only this much, isn't it? When this melts, what is the surface area of water? Is it only this much? No, it may be all this area. If it further heat treatment is given, contemplation, then water will become water vapor. Air nahi banta bhaiya. It becomes water vapor. What is the surface area of water vapor? Maybe it covers the entire house. So where are you in yourself? Are you ice cube? Are you water? Or are you water vapor? See? So are you an individual? Ice cube. Are you one with the Lord? Water. Are you one with Paramatma? Water vapor. ग्रो करो, और उसके लिए हमको ग्रोथ विल ऑटोमेटिकली टेक प्लेस. You get out of the way, and your getting out of the way is dissolution of unwanted thoughts from your mind. So first we did was remove the thoughts of the future. Then third chapter, what did we say? याद है? भूल गए. Thank you. I can repeat the same lecture all over again without any effort. The third chapter is, once the mind becomes purified, this is called purification. Once the mind gets purified, the I becomes available to a new possibility. And that new possibility is that action is not important anymore. The attitude and intention behind the action is important. And action happens at three places. Remember? Manasa, Vacha, Kaya. So action happens at the body level, action happens at the speech level, and action happens at the thought level. What is your intention and attitude behind the action? Is it pure? Is it manipulative? Is it corrupt? Is it born out of jealousy? Is it born out of desire? Is it? So many options are there. And the student here, Arjun and or us, we keep refining our attitude. If we are performing karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, as we are practicing that, we will, whether you like it or not, you will become available to the intention. Then your obsession with action will be replaced by the attitude towards the action that has to be performed. Examples I gave, listen to the talk on the YouTube. Then when this happens, as your attitude and intention is getting refined and refined and refined, we come to the fourth chapter. What was the fourth chapter? Thank you, not remembering. Fourth chapter reveals to the student expansion is taking place. So first he was obsessed with action. Now he's obsessed with his attitude. And naturally he has dropped the action. Action requires doership. Now he's moving to the fourth chapter. What is the fourth chapter? He starts seeing, because of the refined attitude and intention, he starts seeing, because mind is getting purified, lesser and lesser thoughts, even further, he becomes available to a new vision. What is that? Activity and inactivity are both happening at the same time. This is the new realization. And when you see, so now you are sitting here, for those who are new, you are sitting here, are you active at this moment? No. Yes, mentally maybe, but physically not. But inside the blood is moving, isn't it? The breath is going on, activity is going on. In the car, I was not active, I was sitting still. I had actually gone to sleep also in between. But I reached here after 50 minutes, 60 minutes. How did I reach? I don't know. But I reached. So I was inactive, but activity was going on. Movement was happening. Sometimes we are active, and yet there is some inactive principle within. See? So in this manner, the student becomes available to this vision that activity and inactivity are complementary, they coexist, and nothing can be done about it. He is the observer. And when he comes to realize, just like example, day and night are complementary to each other. They coexist. Day cannot be without night, night cannot be without day. Inside cannot be without outside, outside cannot be without inside. Gain cannot be without loss, loss cannot be without gain. Both are opposites, isn't it? And like this, everything in creation. Creation is nothing but a pairs of opposites which are coexisting. And this student who is seeking his true potential, he starts getting unobsessed, not obsessed, unobsessed by activity or inactivity. So Chodara. This leads him to the 5th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And what is that? He becomes totally dispassionate, disinterested, indifferent towards all activity, and therefore the chapter 5 is called the Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So he has got sannyas towards karma. Means he has renounced karma. He is not interested in it anymore. When you renounce karma, many children also say, I got nothing to do, I am bored. This is also sannyas. You must have heard your children saying that. I am bored. I'm not interested in TV. I'm not interested in this game. I'm not interested in my friends. I'm not interested in sleeping. Then what are you interested in? I don't know. IDK. Huh? But this is not sannyas. This is depression. No interest in life is not a healthy sign. We must be fully fired up to live life. So karma sannyas is that we have come to realize that everything in life is just happening. I don't need to dictate it which way it has to go. But if I have to dictate, why would I dictate how to live my life, how to serve? Why would I dictate my life to live in a survival mode, to be afraid of death, to be afraid of no money, to be afraid of ill health, to be afraid if my wife or husband will leave me, to be afraid of... We find n number of ways to be afraid of, isn't it? That's why we keep taking insurance after insurance. When you have become totally understood this 3rd and 4th chapter, and you come to the 5th chapter, Karma Sannyas, come in. Karma Sannyas, then what to do? If I'm not interested in anything, what to do? Then the teacher comes into your life. He says that brings us to the 6th chapter, because empty mind is devil's workshop. If you leave your mind empty, you are disinterested in everything. There are no thoughts in your mind because you are not interested in anything only. It will lead to some unwanted, issues. So at this time, as you are moving, majority of the Upanishads begin like this, that the teacher has come to this, the student has come to this point, and he is seeking a teacher. Who can tell me what should I do next? I have got no interest in the world. I have sorted it out logically, attentively, that this world does not hold any answers for the happiness that I am seeking, for the peace that I am seeking, for the contentment that I am seeking. Who will tell me the answer? He is roaming around in the jungle. And when you are seeking, the teacher appears. So also in the 6th chapter, Arjuna already has got the teacher. So he is saying, many things are told, but out of that one thing, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam Natmanam Avasadayet. The Bhagavan tells him that now, once you have renounced everything, you are not interested in anything, now you raise yourself by yourself, in yourself, for yourself. When you say raise yourself by yourself, in yourself, now you don't say, I will raise myself by pranayam. It did not say, raise yourself by pranayam. Okay, then I will raise myself by studying scripture. Did it say, raise yourself by studying scriptures? No. It said, raise yourself by yourself, in yourself. So what is the message? The message is, you become focused. Once you are not interested in the world, now you become focused on the self, the spirit, the consciousness that is within. You become focused on that. And by contemplating on that, allow the unfoldment to happen, allow the growth to happen. Every object in this world is limited. It comes into existence, it stays in the existence, then it goes out of existence. That which is finite cannot give you infinite happiness. It cannot expand you infinitely because it is finite. So table, houses, you may have million houses in your portfolio, but you will never expand. What has expanded? Your portfolio has expanded. What about you? You are more worried. Rent नहीं आया यार उधर से, है ना? अरे यार कितनी बार प्लम्बिंग वाले को बुलाना पड़ेगा उस घर के लिए, यही सोचते रहोगे दिन भर. So you have, that is not expansion. So true expansion is anything in this world can never make you expand to infinity. So therefore choose something which has the capacity to help you expand to infinity or totality. And what is that? Bhagavan tells here, contemplate on the self, focus on the self. Self is of the nature of Satchidanand Swarup. Self is of the nature of Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Swarup. It is eternal, it is unborn, it is ever pure, it is ever independent. So contemplate, what is this life which is expressing through this body? What is that spark? What is that which is making a dead man dead and a living man alive? What is that missing ingredient in a dead man? Put your attention on that ingredient within you. If that goes away, who will go away? We have never experienced ourselves going away from the body, except if someone has gone out of body experience, okay? But apart from that, we have never experienced ourselves going out of body. But we have seen a dead person where there is no life, and I have life. He doesn't have life. What is life? What is this consciousness? What is this spark? What is this spirit? You focus on that. Start inquiring. How? Sit in silence, contemplate on that, and allow it to reveal itself from within. Answer is never going to come from outside, because that life spark is not outside, it is inside you. It is not in the mirror when you look. You look into the mirror, but you shave on the original, isn't it? Not on the reflection. So same way. This is what men do. Ladies, they look at the mirror and put the lipstick here. They don't put the lipstick on the mirror. अरे कितना अच्छा दिख रहा है, अपने ऊपर लगाते हो. तो उसी तरह से when you have recognized there is a life spark within, you explore it. What does this? Is this life spark the body? Is this life spark the breath? Is this life spark the mind? Is this life spark a concept? Or is this life spark an independent principle? What is it? Start inquiring. Slowly, it will keep giving you the answers from within. And as you are seeking it, as you are contemplating on it, then the right texts come, the right teachers come to guide you in that direction. And where will it lead to? It will lead to meditation. That is the 6th chapter, that we sit in meditation, contemplating on who am I. Once you have come to know that you are, I am the consciousness, then what? Is there one consciousness per person? There is a consciousness in me, there is a consciousness in him, there is a spirit in him, there is a spirit in him, there is her, there is a spirit in you and everyone. So are there many spirits? This question comes to the mind. It is the natural progression. It comes in the mind of the seeker. Arjuna also had this question. And to answer his question, Bhagavan said, in one line, he says the verse, Sutre Maniganaiva. He says, no. The entire universe is strung every aspect of the universe is a pearl and it is all strung in me. Just like a gold necklace is there, the string, the chain is made up of gold, and all the beads are also made up of gold. Beads are many, chain is one. And in the chain, all the beads are strung together, and that is called a necklace. Exactly the same way. Bhagavan says, I am that chain, I am that sutra in whom the entire variety of the creation is strung. What is the entire variety? From the micro to the macro. What is micro? Single cellular organism. What is macro? Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Everything is strung in me. Arjun says, Acha, aise hai? Suddenly, now, till now he was thinking of karma, now he is thinking of life and the spirit. Suddenly he is being told, he is not being told, you are, in you the whole world is strung. Bhagavan, who is standing in front of him, who is his cousin, he has taken as a friend, never as the absolute reality, because he doesn't know it. He is saying that he is revealing his true nature to Arjun in that one sentence. When he says, the entire creation is strung in me. Arjun says, yaar, tum to mere samne khade ho, and the whole creation is in you. How is that possible? And it goes on. And then in between, but how can it be strung? There is so much of death and birth and what happens to a person? He gets distracted there. And what happens to a person after death? How does he get a particular life? This, that, all those questions are answered in the 8th chapter. And why you were born as Vishnu in this life with this particular personality? Why you are born like this with this personality? Why I am born in this body to these parents as this person and growing to be whichever way I am going? Why? Is someone playing a Katputli game with us, making us dance? Or is it we ordered our own what we want to be? So there in the 8th chapter, Bhagavan is explaining that everyone orders his own future with the last thought when he dies. So what is the last thought when you die? If the last thought is, my Tommy, tang, next birth, whoa, 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 whoa. But if the last thought is, Om Namah Shivaya. If the last thought is Ram, Ram, Ram. If the last thought is Om. One person is there in Melbourne. He had lung cancer. Doctors told him 4 months and we can't do anything more. It's diagnosed in the last stage. And he was hospitalized and everything. And I was coming to India and I went to see him. He was in the last stages. And his wife, she's very dear to me. And she said, Swamiji, my husband, he has asked the doctors, because lung cancer means you are finding difficult to breathe. The pain is, the cancer has spread throughout the body and he is finding it very, very painful. And he told the doctors, give me only so much painkiller that I remain as much pain can be controlled, what is the word? Tolerated, or by me, it's okay. But I want to remain conscious. I don't want to die unconsciously. Big statement. And what is he doing by remaining conscious? He says, doctor said, but why you want to go through this pain? He says, at the moment it feels like pain, but after some time it will go away. How will it go away? I'm chanting the Lord's name. And he kept chanting Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram. And as the pain increased, with that intensity, his chanting of the name also increased. It didn't happen because he had cancer. He was chanting for many years. And at the time of death, the last word that came out of his mouth was Sai Ram. And he left. The last breath left him. Can we guarantee? If death comes right now, what will be thinking? Sabudana Vada, Pav Bhaji. What will we be thinking? So prepare. Half the battle is won if you are prepared. And what is the preparation? Continuously remembering the divine as the Spirit or as the Lord. Continuously. Let there be no break in it. So, after telling the 8th chapter, Bhagawan, when Bhagawan said that, he says, but Bhagawan, in the 9th chapter, the 9th chapter is about 10th, 11th, 9th. It's the Raja Yoga. The Raj Yoga is told, and in that, but I'll tell you something. And there he says, so how do I come to know you? Are you, if you say you are everywhere, in the 7th chapter he said that the whole world is in me, I am the source, I am the substratum of everything is strung in me. He says, then are you everywhere? He says, yes, I am everywhere. And he starts telling towards the end of the chapter 9 till the end of chapter 10. He starts telling him how he is, the Lord is saying, how he is in every aspect of the creation. And which you must have heard many times. In the 10th chapter he says, I am the I'm the fig tree among all the trees, I am the Himalayas among the mountains, I am the Ganges among the rivers, I am the Arjun among all the men, I am the... And like this it goes on and on and on and on. So many examples he gives. And towards the end of the 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, I can eternally, because how many varieties are there in this world? Infinite number. You can't say there is only set number of species. So much variety. He says, till eternity I can keep going and you will keep listening. There is no end to this glory. This is a glory. So Arjun says, if that is the case, can I have the experience of all your manifestations in one go? Smart. Can I see? I don't have the time. I don't have the patience also to listen. It's very nice to listen to you. Your voice is sweet. Yeah, your examples are fantastic. But this will take too long. Please, is there a way that you can show me all your specific manifestations in one go? That brings us to the, remember, expansion is going on. For expansion to happen, first some foundation has to be laid. If the building has to go tall, first the foundation has to be laid, only then you can go up, go higher. So same way, first this was 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th chapters where the foundations of devotion. What is devotion? Where you go away from your self-centric attitude to God-centric attitude. And who is God? What is the difference between God and you? You are considering yourself only to be this body and only expanding only in this body. And God is totally expansive. He is the universal, isn't it? So the seeds are being laid, because after 6th chapter, okay, I come to know myself, but I am seeing self in everyone. This idea that I am seeing self in everyone has to be broken, has to be cut somehow, and a vision has to be presented so that the student realizes that he alone is expressing in everywhere. But if he says, I alone am expressing, it will become a big ego like Ravana's. So it is not told. So there Bhagavan says, I am expressing, you surrender to me. So in the 11th chapter, Bhagavan says that you cannot, yes, it is possible. You can see all the manifestations, specific manifestations in one go. But with these eyes, you are not qualified. So he gives him the third eye. In other words, if you do all these processes that I have just told you and come to the 11th chapter, your third eye will open. But opening of the third eye is not equal to realization. It is only a total vision is presented to you. And what happens when his third eye is given? He sees that the past, present and future are going in and coming out. Everything is happening parallelly. And then as he is watching the Vishwaroop Darshan, you have heard of that? Vishwaroop Darshan? It keeps becoming terrible and terrible. That the grandfather, the Guru Maharaj, his brothers, his real brothers, Arjuna, the Yudhishthir and everyone, all the gods also, everyone is getting chewed up, blood spurting, the brain splashing. The universal person is chewing with his thousands of heads. And as he is eating, the whole creation he's not catching the creation. The whole creation is wanting to be devoured by him. The whole creation is wanting to be created through him. So both things are happening at the same time. And he becomes terrified of that vision and he says, Hey Prabhu, please come into your Saumya form. I don't want this terrible form. I'm getting scared of this form. So Bhagavan comes back into Shankha Chakra Gada Padma form, the Narayan Roop that you all know. So he comes and then he sings the glory of that form, and he said in the it was in the 11th chapter, yes. In the 11th chapter, then he comes to realize the true form of the Lord or the universal self, the Virat Roop. What is Virat Roop? It is the all-inclusive God principle, if you want to say. So, for all the people, be attentive. For all the people in the dream, do you dream? All the people in the dream, who will be the Virat Roop? Your mind is the Virat Roop. Because the whole dream is coming out of your mind. Whole dream with all inert and living people is going back into the mind, is dying in the mind only. That is the source of emanation and that is the source of annihilation also. If you want to know, so is true in the waking also. But we are too smart. So we have to go through another few chapters. So Bhagavan gives him, then in the 12th chapter, Bhagavan says, oh, this is really fantastic. How do I invoke? How do I remember? Bhagavan says, Pushpam Phalam Toyam, just with one flower or with one leaf or with one milk or with water, you can invoke me, this, that. And there also he says, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, Ye Jana Paryupasate, Desham Nityabhiyuktanam, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Bhagavan says to Arjun that anyone who thinks of me with exclusivity, meaning to the exclusion of all other thought, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, he who contemplates on me, who he thinks about me, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam, Ye Jana Paryupasate, those people who think, contemplate on me, Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam, Yogakshemam Vihamyaham. And How do they think about it anyway? Where? On the toilet seat, okay. While walking, okay. While eating, okay. That is Sanatan Dharma. Every aspect of your life is turned towards the divine. The moment you get up, Karagre vasate Lakshmi Karamule Sarasvati Karag Madhye tu Govinda Prabhate Karadarshanam. The moment you put your feet onto the ground, Prithvitya Dhrita Loka, that mantra is gone. The moment you take bath, Gange Chayamune Chaiva. And it goes on and on and on and on. Every aspect of your life, for that there is a mantra or a way is given for you to connect to the divine. And why is that given? So that you can see that it is only divine functioning everywhere. You are nowhere. Arjun sees all this, but he is not able to keep his mind steady on the Shankha Chakra Gada Padma Purusha. He says, I understand all this, I am seeing all this, but I am not able to focus. He says, because, if you are everywhere, you must be inside of me also. If you are inside of everything and everything is inside of you, you must be inside of me. Till now he was thinking Krishna is only his friend. Now he is saying, you must be inside of me. Something has shifted in Arjun. He says, yes, I am inside of you. Where? He says, I am the Atma in you. I am the spirit in you. So which means that if your nature is infinite, then, and you are inside me as the Atma, then Atma is infinite. That's what I told you in the beginning, the second chapter. You didn't understand. Oh. Suddenly, tubelight starts after how many? 12 chapters. And in the end of the 12th chapter, how does a great devotee, what are the qualities of the great devotee, what is the abidance of a great devotee in the divine? All those symptoms are given, and that is beautiful. We are not going to go into all that. But then now Arjun, or the seeker in us, is interested, how do I recognize the infinite in me? It was told in 6th chapter, but he came to the Atma without the realization that Atma is infinite, Atma is all pervasive, Atma is all knowing, Atma is all blissful. That's what happens to us in Samadhi. We go into Samadhi, we have all this experience, but when we come out, the wife and husband are still there in front of us. सारा मिट्टी में चला जाता है. Because the world is still there. World has not dissolved into universal consciousness. So, now the 13th chapter begins. For that, when he asks, Bhagavan by himself is giving him the answer. He says, for you to grow further, you need to, 31 qualities he gives him. And he says, you practice these qualities. Amanitvam, avadambitvam, yeah? Don't be a hypocrite, don't have the I-ness, don't have the my-ness, and it goes on and on. If you cultivate even one of those qualities, your personality will start integrating. And that leads to, where are we? 13th chapter, where, kitna chota likha hai. Discrimination between nature and soul. So in the 13th chapter, the main topic that he takes after having told that you build up these qualities, any one of them, you will be further refined. And with that refinement, you will be able to see the difference between spirit and matter. Just like oil and water cannot be mixed together, similarly, spirit and matter cannot be mixed together. Because both are of totally opposite qualities. Matter is born, matter dies. Spirit is unborn, spirit never dies. Matter modifies, spirit never modifies. Matter was non-existent, then became existent, then became non-existent. Spirit was existent before, is existent now, and continues to be existing. So how can these two qualities, diametrically opposite qualities, material, spirit and matter, come together? Not possible. But my experience is, there is one example here, one example there. It's a mixture of spirit and matter, isn't it? You have a body and you have life. You have a body, you have life. Even plants, they have a body, they have life. Animals, they have body, they have life. I see gods, they also have a body, they have life. So here, the student in Arjuna it was impressed upon him first to understand that the quality of spirit or the attributes of spirit are different, and attributes and qualities of the matter are different. And how they have come out together, it is taking place. It's a phenomena. We call spirit as spirit only because we see a body. If there is no body, will we call it a spirit? We call sunlight sunlight because there is darkness. If there is no darkness, will we call it, continuously we are having sunlight, will we call it sunlight or daylight? Will we call it a day also? We will not. See, so we are Arjun is here made to think differently. His attention is the reason, the idea of spirit and matter is brought, so that his obsession with matter is dissolved and his focus on spirit is enhanced. And as he is doing that, it brings us to the 14th chapter, the separation of the three gunas. He says, yeah, but I am trying to think of the spirit, but my mind is not able to focus on the spirit, sometimes it goes on the body, sometimes it goes on the breath, sometimes it goes on the mind, sometimes it goes here, sometimes it goes there. Why is it going on? Why is it not able to stay still? He knows how to stay still on the eye of the bird and shoot it, because he is an achiever. Then why am I not able to stay focused on the self? It is also a challenge for him. Then Bhagavan is saying, that bird, it's not given here, I am adding to it. He says, that bird is outside, this spirit is inside. And the reason you are not, what are you using to focus on the spirit which has got no form? The mind, the thoughts. And the thoughts are of three types, tamasic, rajasic and sattvic. Your whole personality at the body level is made up of these three, sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. Sattvic is intelligent, calm, cool, collected. Rajasic is dynamic. When sattvic is, a person is sattvic, is having is sattvic with a hint of rajasic, or with a portion of rajas to be more, then you become Parshuram. Whereas if more sattva is there and little rajas is there, then you become Ram. If more rajas is there and very little sattva is there and beginning of tamas is there, then you become Narsimha. See, you become Duryodhan. Narsimha, there it is incarnation, but that incarnation is also from tamasic species to the human species, and within the human, Ram is the ultimate human. Then what is the growth after a human being? It is Krishna consciousness. तो क्या जिंदगी भर हा 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 करते रहोगे? नहीं. Then comes Buddha. You serve the society as your own extension. That is Buddha. Not just compassion. You serve the society as your own extension. Just like you serve your own family as your own extension. Children, you don't see them separate. तुम ये तो नहीं सोचते कि इसके लिए मेरे को ये अपने आप ही अंदर से आता है कि आई हैव टू टेक केयर, इट इज़ माई ड्यूटी. सेम थिंग इट शुड कम टुवर्ड्स द होल यूनिवर्स. I liked it when I came. All the chappals were in queue. In yoga center, it was not like that. Dar, dar, dar. And they are doing the yoga. Sorry if you have heard it. See? So in this manner, we have to, the nature of the mind is sometimes tamasic, sometimes rajasic, sometimes sattvic. Now, if you know, I don't know, but I'll tell you. What is tamasic? When the mind is tamasic, what happens? Sleep. When the mind is rajasic, what happens? Dream. When the mind is sattvic, what happens? Waking. This is not only happening at the individual level, this is also happening at the universal level. What is rajasic at the total level? Brahmaji. What is sattvic at the total level? Vishnuji. What is tamas at the total level? Shivji. See? So, he is the conscious principle. Brahmaji is the conscious principle. Vishnu is the conscious principle. Shiv is the conscious principle. Where is the sattva, rajas, tamas? That is the Shakti, the potentiality. So, there Saraswati is the Rajasic Shakti, the Lakshmi is the Sattvic Shakti, and Parvati is the Tamasic Shakti. Same way. In us, waker is the Sattvic, dreamer is the Rajasic, and sleeper is the Tamasic. So the waking mind is the Sattvic Shakti, the dream mind is the Rajasic Shakti, and the zero mind in the deep sleep is the Tamasic Shakti. So both are reflecting. But what is the difference between Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh and the waker, dreamer, sleeper? Waker, dreamer, sleeper are slaves of their body. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh are the masters of their potentiality. We are slaves of our mind, not body. When I say body, it's the mind. The waker is a slave of his waking mind, dreamer is the slave of his dream mind, deep sleep is also, sleeper is also slave of the bliss of the zero mind. Whereas Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, they are ever awake to their potentialities. And therefore, they are gods. And we are individuals. Therefore, we pray to them. When you become you dissolve the slavery of your mind through practices, through studies, through yoga to the mind and become the master of your mind, then there is no difference between you and God. There is no difference. Technically there is no difference. Expression wise it may be, it will take some time for it to manifest, but technically you are there. So, having understood this, we come to the 14th chapter. Oh, that was the 14th chapter, the separation of the gunas. So, there so many aspects are taken. The karma is sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. The shraddha is sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. The phala is sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. The ego is sattvic, rajasic, tamasic, and in this so many aspects of the creation and our personality are shown, that everything is divided into sattvic, rajasic and tamasic. Meaning sattvic is purity, rajas is dynamism, and tamas is inertia. So if you are sleeping till 12 o'clock in the afternoon, understand, tamas has taken over. See? So this, and you can't do anything about it. This sattva, rajas, tamas is the way the whole creation has come about. Question is, how do you negotiate through it? How do you negotiate? By first understanding what is its nature. Many people don't even know that the waking experience is a sattvic experience. So first understand that how this sattva, rajas, tamas is panning out in your life, inside and outside. So in our body, up till here is sattva. Then from here till here is rajas. From here to here, from here till here is rajas. From waist, navel and below is tamas. Similarly, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahman is sattvic, Kshatriya is rajas with a little bit hint of sattva. Then, with a lot of portion of sattva. Whereas Vaishya is rajas with a lot of tamas mixed with it. And Shudra is a lot of tamas with little bit of rajas in it and no sattva. So, and there is nothing wrong. There is nothing wrong. So when we say Brahma, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, this is how you were born. What can you do about it? Those who are fixed in that job description that I am born to a Shudra. Okay, ठीक है, सेवा करो. I am born as a Kshatriya. लड़ो और मरो. I am born as a, we are proud. I am from a Brahmin family. And what do? Eat meat and drink. फिर किस बात का ब्राह्मण? तुम तो शूद्र से भी नीचे चले गए, चांडाल बन गए. Change. Correct your attitude. If information is knowledge, once you got the information, change. Arjun did not do any sadhana in the entire Bhagavad Gita. He listened very attentively. And while he is listening, in his mind, the transformation is taking place because he is convinced of what the Lord is telling him. He didn't have to give up anything, but he transformed. And we see that at the end of the Bhagavad Gita. Continuing with that, then comes Bhagwan. And once we have cleared the obstacle of the sattva, rajas, tamas, we have gone beyond the sattva, rajas, tamas. Then comes the 15th chapter. 15th chapter is about the yoga of the Supreme Person. What is that? Purushottama Yoga. Who is this Supreme Person? Who is all inclusive. He is all knowing. Supreme Person is that person in whom the whole... See, which one are you? Are you the waker person or the dream person or the sleep person or the witness who knows that the waker person is coming and going, dreamer person is coming and going, and sleeper person is coming and going? Which one are you? I'm asking. Think. इतना कोई कॉम्प्लिकेटेड क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछा मैंने, या तो लेक्चर लंबा हो गया लगता है. 113. हाँ, अब भूख लग रही है. हाँ, ठीक है. Few more minutes and I'll conclude. I take the question back. I'll answer. तो क्या है Supreme Person? Supreme Person is that person, the Purushottam, the Supreme Most. So are you a husband? Are you a brother? Are you a father? Or are you a man? Think. Before answering, think. You can touch. This is the man, the body of the... Where is the body of the father? Where is the body of the husband? Where is the body of the brother? Is there a body? So who are these three? Only imaginations. So real is man who is imagining himself with reference to someone or the other, that I am a husband, I am a brother, I am a son, or I am a father. So these are only roles. So who is becoming miserable, man or the roles? Because of the child, who becomes miserable? Man or the father? Father. Because of the wife, who becomes miserable? Man or the husband?
Husband.
Continue like that, okay? So which means all the roles that you are playing are becoming miserable. The original man is never miserable. Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. Supreme person is never miserable. He is complete. Just like man in this example was complete, with the universal creation, Supreme person is ever complete. Brahmaji may be miserable. Many times he has got trouble. That's why he lost his one head. Vishnu Bhagavan also was in trouble. He had to take form of a Mohini. And Shivji was running after him. There will be havoc in the creation if that happened. Shivaji was also in trouble when Kam Devta came and troubled him. Or when Sati burnt herself in the father's Havan Kund. He lost it. But the Supreme Person never loses it. He is ever the same. So within you, waker can lose it, the dreamer can lose the plot, the sleeper can be sleepless. But you who knows that the waker, dreamer, sleeper are coming and going never loses the plot. That is the Supreme Person. This is at individual level. Expand it to the total, it is called as the Supreme Person. And you and the Supreme are one and the same. With this, we come to the 16th chapter. Even after knowing this, Arjun was not able to control his mind in focus on the Supreme Person. So he says, why is this happening? Why am I not able to? So Bhagavan says, there are, the chapter begins, the differentiation between divine and the demonic attributes. That within us, there are positive qualities and negative qualities. There are asuric vrittis and sattvic vritti, daivik vritti. So there is continuously, the mind is they are both in the mind and they are continuously fighting with each other. Sometimes the asuras want the power, sometimes the devas want the power. Sometimes the waker and dreamer want to be awake, and sometimes the sleep wants to be in power. So we have to go beyond both. We don't want heaven. We don't want any of the lokas. We want to go beyond the good and the bad. That is what in the beginning it says, Sukha Dukkha Same Kritva Labha Labho Jaya. So go beyond all the opposites. And that is what is told here. Then that brings us to the 17th chapter, the separation of the three kinds of faith. I will not go into that. Faith is Shraddha, Tamasic Shraddha. When you have Tamasic Shraddha, then you have faith in your own doing. I will do yoga, I will do pranayam, I will do study the scriptures. Everything I, because tamasic, ego is very strong. Rajasic, then you want to gain the siddhis. You want to expand your mind to express the potential. Sattvic Shraddha, you want to merge into the divine, to be one with the divine. In just short, there are many aspects to that chapter which I am not going into. And to the conclusion, these are all the steps to expansion of your own personality. From individual crystallized personality, you are growing to be infinite, formless, attributeless reality. And the last one is the way of renunciation. And in the Yoga Sutras also it was told, Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha iti Yoga. In Kaivalya Upanishad also it comes, in Taittiriya Upanishad it also comes, Na karmana na prajaya dhane na tyage naike amritattva manashuhu. Na karmana, not by karma, na prajaya, not by progeny or children. Third, na dhanena, not by wealth can you gain immortality. Then how do you gain immortality? Tyage naike amritatva manasho. Only by giving up, only by letting go, only by growing out of, only by not getting attached to any damn thing, including thought, including waking dream and deep sleep and samadhi. You have to let go of everything, let everything dissolve. Tyage naike. The more you give up, the more you expand. When there is nothing else to give up, that is the reality. And that you are. This is the ultimate chapter on renunciation, that is the 18th chapter. And with that, the student or the Arjuna has become doubt-free as to what his nature is. Then Arjuna is asked the question by Krishna Bhagavan, so has your doubt which you began, the crisis which you began, has that doubt been resolved? Arjuna says, oh Lord, not only it's Lord, now no doubt remains. Now I will do what you command me to do. And what will Bhagavan command him to do? He says, it's your choice, you do what you want. And what is the position where Arjuna is standing right now? In the middle of the army. Whether you are realized or not, he is in the middle of the army. What is the job he has to do? Fight. He has already seen that whether he kills or doesn't kill, Krishna has already killed everyone, because he saw in the 11th chapter. He doesn't remember everything, but I'm thinking that way. So he says, I have got, my delusion is gone, no doubts remain in my mind, karishye vachanam tava, now I will follow your diktat. Please command. And with that, the Bhagavad Gita, or the expansion of the individual into the finite. Expansion into the finite doesn't mean you become incapable of functioning in life. Your feet should be, he showed me one cup and he said, Swami, this is what you said in one of the lectures. Act locally, think globally. Or here I will say, act locally and think universally. Let your head be in the clouds, but your feet be on the ground. And that's what Arjuna exemplifies in front of us. His feet is always on the ground. He is ready to do what is required to be done, without a complaint. And that should be our attitude towards life. So, I have done justice to the whole Bhagavad Gita in two lectures. Hope you got something out of it. For me, it's a revision to think in this manner every time something different comes out. So, if you have any questions, you can ask. But till then, Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Just sit quietly for a moment.